Here is my most updated recent list of the most disturbing films I've seen. Now, this may disturb me in different ways than it disturbed you. It might not even disturb you at all. That's okay. Before I get into it, if you guys are new here and enjoy all things horror movies and spooky, I'd love for you to follow. First up, I have The War Zone, directed by Tim Roth. This movie was unreal. This had many scenes where it was very triggering for me, and trigger warnings on this one for sexual assault, rape, and all kinds of crazy stuff, all right? Most certainly, this is a film I'm probably never going to forget. I have to throw Found on this list. This movie is kind of bad with the acting, but the concept and the overall story is terrifying. This movie has trigger warnings for all kinds of things: gore, sexual assault, rape, everything in the books. This is a true horror film, despite the cheesy acting. I wish there would have been better actors, but it's all right. This movie definitely stuck with me for a few days after watching it. Next is Palm Trees and Power Lines. This is not a horror movie. This is a real-life drama. However, I consider it to be real-life horror, considering this is about sex trafficking and how men will manipulate you. I've been through similar situations, and this one very much triggered me, and it felt very realistic. The acting was superb. 10 out of 10. Trust is actually on my favorites, but this one still disturbs me. This is about a girl who is chatting online to this guy, and she starts falling for him. However, he lies to her about his age. She meets up with him. He's in his 30s, and she's like 16, 17 years old. And he manipulates her incredibly. This movie is another 10 out of 10, and I've never forgotten about it. The Girl Next Door is probably one of the most brutal films I've seen. I definitely had to fast forward some scenes. I could not stomach it. The gal who played Ruth really slayed in her role. I mean, she was ruthless as fuck. This film is definitely not one I recommend. It was certainly great, but it's very brutal and disturbing. Trigger warnings for everything: sexual assault, rape, everything, guys. I had a chance to watch Rosemary's Baby for the very first time all the way through, and I do have to say, this definitely chilled and disturbed me. The pacing was a little bit slow, but the concept of this is definitely terrifying and disturbing. Honorable mention, The First Omen. This is my new #1 favorite horror movie of the year, but there were some very graphic and disturbing scenes in this film. What are the most disturbing films you've seen as of lately? Let me know in the comments.